everybody, welcome back to the Drum Mission. That's right. I know things have been a little sketchy lately with putting up videos, and I apologize for that. I was sick, and then I had to do my taxes, and that was a fiasco, and then I got busy with a bunch of gigs and doing my little part-time gig of teaching 3 classes. My goodness, I couldn't find the time to get everything in. But I got 3 weeks off from gigs. I'm just going to be doing the part-time gigs. So here we are. I'm going to get ahead, hopefully, on videos, and I won't have that happen again. And I got some special things planned for you in the next couple of months. Okay, what are we doing today? I am teaching you Fourstix, the Led Zeppelin song. Man, this is one of my favorite Zeppelin tunes. And it's one of my favorites because I always like songs that are cool and they're not like everything else, or they're further away from everything else. So there's no 4/4 in this tune. You're either counting to 5 or you're counting to 6. And you can think of it as 5/8, 6/8, but really I like to think of it as 5/4 and 6/4. And there's several options on patterns that you could be using. There's a pattern that's taught by a lot of the YouTube guys that I think is the wrong pattern. There's the way that Jason Bonham plays it, which it seems closer. I don't think that's exactly right either. I think it's actually a combination of the one that I use and Jason Bonham's pattern. And I'm going to show you the one that I use. And really, do whatever makes you happy. Because there's a lot of ways you can do it. The hard thing about this beat is it's not holding the 4 sticks. To be honest with you, the whole 4-stick thing is more of like a circus trick. It's a magic trick. It's kind of cool. I'm going to show it to you. I've showed it to you once before. Gadd did it sometimes. Bonham did it sometimes. It's not really that hard. Could you, if you had to, could you play the song at a show with 2 sticks? Sure you could. You could do it 2 sticks easily. The 4 sticks is kind of cool. People go, wow, he's got 4 sticks. Okay, that's as far as that goes. Alright, so I am going to show you how to count it. I'm going to show you several variations, and then you pick the one that feels best for you, that you like the best. The hard part about this tune is the feet. Not only is coordination-wise, it's a little tricky to get happening, but it's a freaking aerobic workout. You are doing your feet almost like a roll for the entire tune, which is 4 minutes and 48 seconds. That's about 5 minutes at 200 beats a minute. If you do this, if you practice that song 3 times, you will actually have 3,000 steps if you have one of those watches that can tell that kind of thing. So this is not only a coordination-wise hard tune because of the feet, and we're going to do that last. We're going to show the hands first. But it is a physically, and I'm talking about endurance, stamina, just the muscular thing you have to have. It is physically a hard song to play, especially if you're 62 years old, which I am. All right, guys, let's get right to it. I love this song, one of my favorite Zeppelin tunes. Here we go, right now. Okay, let's get right into this. Alright, so this is one of those songs you really have to know a little bit about the tune. You have to know the tune. This tune is all, well, I guess you can call it odd meters. It's either 5/4 or 6/4. And the song has really 2 sections with variations. You could say it has 3 sections, but it's more like 2 sections. So, most rock and pop tunes you think of as verse, chorus, and then maybe a bridge, right, that takes you somewhere else. However, I think thinking of this song as verse, chorus doesn't really describe what's happening. I think this is more akin to the jazz tunes, which were A section, B section. I think that's more right. Okay, so in other words, in the jazz tunes, you would have an A section, which could be, usually 8 bars long. It might have been 10, it might be 9, it might be 12, it might be 14. And then that section would repeat, and then they would do a B section, which would be a kind of like a different melody, a different feel, that kind of thing. So a lot of those early jazz tunes, especially in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, were A, A again, then B, then A again. And that was a 32 bar tune. They were all 8 bars long. And most of that early stuff was that way. This is similar. We have an A section, which is mostly 5/4 with a little bit of 6/4. Now, why am I saying 5/4 and 6/4? Some guys on YouTube will say 5/8 and 6/8. I'm going back to notation because I write stuff out sometimes, and this is much more difficult to write out if you're thinking of it as in 5/8 or rather than thinking of it in 5/4. So I'm going to stay with 5/4, but really for the sake of learning the tune, all you have to know is you're counting to 5 or you're counting to 6. Now, individually, what your hands are doing, not hard. I'm going to show you a couple of versions of what your hands might be doing. What your feet are doing, not hard. When you begin to take it to 200 beats a minute, which is about the tempo of the tune, and you put them together, hard. No other channel would do this. They would show you the way that they do it. Yes, there is a way that I do it live. I don't play it often that live, but there is a way that I do it. Let me show you the simplest, easiest way that most of the YouTube guys do. I don't think that's the way that John did it, but let me do it that way first for you. Just the hands, no feet yet. You've really got to work this tune up that way. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. So, very simple, this part. It is alternating strokes, just right, left, or left, right. I'm left-handed, I say it all the time. I'm going to be starting with my left hand on the floor tom, so the whole part's going to be left, right, with accents. We'll get to that. If you're right-handed, you're going to be over here. You're going to start with your right hand on the floor tom, and your whole part's going to be right, left. Remember, I'm not adding the feet yet. Okay, so let me sing that to you, and you've heard it before, and then I'll also count sing it. So it's ba 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 ba. Right, that's the melody line or the bass line or the guitar line. I think the bass and guitar are playing together there. If I put the numbers to it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 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 okay? So now we are just going to alternate, and I'm going to do those accents between my hands. This is the easiest way. We'll go slow and then I'll bring it up to tempo. Now add tempo and I'll try to sing along with it. Singing, I mess up a little bit. This would be a hard one. This would be a hard one to sing and play at the same time. It definitely would. Okay, so that's the easiest way. If that's where you should start. That's where you should start, especially if you're putting it with the feet. Now let me show you the way that I do it, and the way that I do it is the way that when I have headphones on, this is the way I hear Bonham doing it, John doing it, in the very beginning of the tune. Now he does vary it. Bonham was an improv artist. He never did one thing all the way through the same way. Let me show you the way that I play this, usually for most of the first A section. Okay? Simple. I'm going to put quarter notes on the floor tom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, we haven't got to the 6th section yet. Haven't got there yet. And I'm going to play 1, the and of 2, and 4 here. Now you say, well, that seems kind of sparse, Glenn, but when you add the feet, it's not. We're not adding the feet yet. That's a whole nother enchilada. We haven't gotten there yet. Okay? So let me show you. I'm going to do it slow, and I'll try to sing play it again, and then I'll do it up tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now up tempo. Okay, so now my variation of that, and I'm pretty sure Bonham's variation of that is this, ghost notes. Ghost notes. So instead of going 1, the and of 2, and 4, we go 1 loud, and then the and of 1 soft, and then sometimes the and of 2 loud, sometimes soft, and then 4 and the and of 4. So it would be like this. Or if I put it up to tempo, that's a variation I use, and I know from my ears that John is using that one too. He's doing that one too. Again, you might say, that doesn't exactly sound like what he's doing. No, we haven't added the feet yet. We haven't added the feet. All right, let's talk about Jason Bonham. Jason Bonham. He does a really cool variation. So you're saying, well, wouldn't Jason have heard this? Wouldn't he know? I think he was too young to really know exactly what his dad was doing at the time. I don't think so. Even if he was on the side of the stage, I don't think he would figure it out. But basically, it's very similar to what I just did. We're adding a little bit of a kind of diddly thing. Watch. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. When I put them together, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 1. That's what I think he's doing. Let me put that up to tempo. So I use those two together. I use them together. All right, let me reset the cameras and let's talk about the feet. We're going to get a little foot camera down there. Okay. All right. The feet. The feet. Okay. So some guys, there's a guy on YouTube, he's called, I think it's Bonzolium. He calls this the Bonham engine because Bonham does this a lot throughout his career. He does it a bunch. We're going to have the hi-hat on the downbeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, I said it before, this goes all the way through the tune. Whether you're counting to 5 or 6, it's all the way through. We haven't gotten to the 6 yet. Because really, to make the 6 sound right, you kind of need the bass drum. So, the hi-hat's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the bass drum continuously is doing the ands. Right? Let me just count that for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and. But at 200 beats a minute, and the 5/4 section is 200 beats a minute. That's pretty quick to keep it going. That's pretty quick. And let me say this. This is a little side note. It's a detour. I'll bracket it off so you know. I've said it before. Do you need good time if you're going to play the drums? Yes. Do you need perfect time? No. I don't think perfect time is a good thing unless you're an Android. The songs that have stood the test of time were not done with a click, or Pro Tools, or on a grid, or anything like that. Maybe a couple of Steely Dan songs, but not all of them. And as a matter of fact, according to Purdy, is they didn't use a click on some tunes. So, Steely Dan, that is. So, if you click this song out, my metronome lets me try to figure out what tempo it is, you'll find out the 5/4 section usually runs at between 198 and 203 beats a minute, somewhere in there. However, the 6/4 section, the B section, usually is between 192 and 195. Substantially slower. That's because they heard that melody a little slower and they made the adjustment. As a matter of fact, when they go in back into the 5 section, you can hear it, you can audibly hear it speed up to get back to the bam, 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 right? They want to get back there. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. There was nobody saying, oh, we don't like that tune because it speeds up in the middle. Nobody cared. It's a human tune, played by humans emotionally feeling the music.
That is the most illogical attitude.
Which I'm sorry. Let's see. We don't know. I won't know. I'll be dead by then. But 60 years from now, all these tunes that come out now with clicks and Pro Tools, will we be listening to them with such adoration when they're 65 years old? I don't know. I don't know. If that's true, somebody have a seance and tell me. Okay. Okay, let's now talk about the 6/4 section. The 6/4 section. All right. This is the B section, and the B section is all 6/4, where in the A section they do mingle in some 6/4 in the 5/4. Okay, and we'll get to that a little bit. I'm just going to talk about it. But let's talk about the larger 6/4 section. So in order to get good at what he does, you got to get good at this first, what I'm going to show you right now. And that is playing 4 against 6 or 6 against 4, however you want to think about it. Because the meter is 6, I think of 4 against 6. So in my floor tom hand, which would be my left, if you're right-handed, would be your right, you're going to play 6 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In your rack tom hand, you're going to play 1, the and of 2, 4, and the and of 5. So let me do just those hands right over. Remember, you're doing the opposite if you're right-handed. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me take it up to tempo. All right. That's not exactly what Bonham plays. He does a flam, and you know what's so cool about this? This idea, I have put a whole, I do a drum solo usually whenever I'm with Tasha Owens, and it's like 3 minutes, and the ending of my solo is based around this idea. I build on it, but it's based around this idea. He does a very loose flam in the B section on 1, and then a cymbal crash on 4. And when you have the bass drum working, it sounds like a triplet. So let me do the 2 back to back. Let me start out with just the quarter notes, and I'll change them to flams, and you'll see what I mean. I'm going to go 4 bars without the flam, everything together with my feet, and I'm going to continue it without stopping for 8, maybe 12 bars of the flam so you can hear it. I'm going to take it a little under tempo so you can hear. Okay? So here we go. Anyway, now the only thing he really does different there is he adds a cymbal crash on 4, so he kind of does this. Alright, so I didn't do that, I wanted you to hear it. You can hear how, with the bass drum, it sounds like triplets. It sounds like those Bonham triplets that he's so famous for. Alright, last thing, the Fourstix. All right, the Fourstix. Again, this is a novelty trick. There's 2 ways to do it. I'm going to show you both right now. The Bonham way, as far as I know, it may not be, but the videos I've seen, it looks like he's doing it this way. and that's with the finger in the middle. And I do not do it that way because every time I've done it, somehow I hit wrong and I hurt my fingers. That's honestly the reason I don't do it that way. The Gad way is like this. I choose to do it this way. Now, the bad news about this way is sometimes as you're playing, if you're hitting too hard, one stick will start to slip out. But here's the way I look at that is so I've only had to do Fourstix live on stage maybe 3-4 times in my career, and it's never happened. But if it did and a stick slipped out and fell, I'd still have the other stick and I could still finish the tune. So that's how I look at it. I'd rather do this. I don't hurt my fingers that way. Otherwise I get like black and blues. All right, guys. I'm going to do 8 bars of the 5/4 section, and then I'm going to start the 6/4 section, and I'm going to just do that and fade out on it. I know this video is going on a little longer than normal, but this is kind of an intricate beat. And of course, like, support, subscribe, and I'm going to say support again. Got some things I want to do and needs money to do it. If you're getting something, if you know someone that's working on this tune, send it to them. Send it to them. They might like it. They might subscribe. All right? Subscribing really does help my algorithms. All right, and leave a comment. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do this a little under tempo. I think it's a little easier to feel and to hear and to learn. Okay, just a little under tempo, not much.